Welcome to Inclusive Gathering Birmingham. We are a community based here in the heart of the Midlands in Birmingham and the surrounding area. We are a diverse community and a welcoming community, so whatever your gender identity, whatever your sexuality, you are very welcome. Whatever your neurodiversity or neurotypicality is, you are very welcome. And today we are looking at the Hebrew word shalom as part of our series on healing and wholeness this month. And in a short while I'm going to talk with my wife Nets, who has some insight and learning she'd like to share about that word and passion about that word that she's had for many years. I just want to begin with a little reading from Psalm 85. The word shalom is often translated as peace, and in this reading though, just to emphasize and to make you think about the word, I'm going to read it as in the original Hebrew, shalom. And this is just an excerpt from Psalm 85. The words of the Lord are words of shalom. Shalom to his people and his loyal servants, and to all who turn and trust in him. Love and truth have embraced. Justice and shalom have kissed each other. Truth has sprung up from the earth. Righteousness reaches down from heaven. Justice makes a path before him, and his footsteps bring shalom. We'll now go over to some music. Thank you.
Fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy, never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise his name, I'm fixed upon it, name of God's redeeming love. Hitherto thy love has blessed me, thou hast brought me to this place, and I know safely home by thy grace. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger, bought me with his precious blood. Oh, to grace, how great a debt daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness, my God, bear by my wandering heart to thee. Grown to wonder, Lord, I'm feeling, prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above, seal it for thy courts above.
Hello, I'm Net, and my pronouns are she, her,
Hello, I'm Dave. My pronouns are he, him.
and we're here at sunny Edgbaston Reservoir to talk about what Shalom is and what brings us Shalom.
Yes.
David's going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to attempt to answer them.
I was going to say, and we are part of Inclusive Gathering Birmingham.
So we are.
Yes, so this idea of shalom, you came to a realisation many years ago now that this was such a key concept, the meaning of this Hebrew word. Do you want to tell people about your journey towards that and your experience of realising that?
Yeah, I first experienced or came across the word in depth when, shortly after my divorce, I chose to take a course, aptly named workshop, with a chap called Noel Moles, who comes from a Mennonite Anabaptist type perspective and was looking at the story of Christian history, or in fact the biblical narrative, right through, and how it has been shaped by the cultures involved in it, and some of the meanings of the words involved were part of that. And the big thing that plays a central part in the whole of the biblical text and coming right through Christian history is this concept of shalom.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about what shalom means? People might be familiar with it being translated as the word peace. Is it just peace, or is there, I think there might be a little bit more to it. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, anybody who lives in inner city Birmingham, like we do, will know salam as a greeting.
Yeah.
Salam aleichem, aleichem salam. But it is far more than that, and it is far more than peace. It involves concepts that include bringing together. It includes integrity. It's very much centered around justice and social justice and bringing wholeness. So making sure that everybody has everything that they need to thrive. In fact, I think that perhaps thriving is a closer English word than peace is. Peace is one aspect of it, and certainly it does relate to peace in relationships between ourselves and God, between ourselves and the natural order of things, the natural world, and between nations. And the bringing into those relationships of everything that benefits the other. So when two nations are at shalom, they're not just ceasing to fight, but they are working for the mutual benefit of the other nation. And the same would happen with regards to shalom coming into a relationship between two people or two groups of people.
Yes. Do you want to give some examples, maybe from your own life, of where shalom shows up?
I think, actually that's quite a difficult question, but I think that one of the areas where shalom shows up most frequently is in our marriage, probably. People may know that David has Asperger's syndrome, and I don't quite know, but I may possibly have ADD. But living in a relationship where time seems to travel in two totally different modes, or where understanding one another doesn't always come naturally, there's a need for the concept for more peace. And in the Bible, throughout the New Testament, this word eirene, which is the New Testament translation of peace, is frequently linked with another word, charis, which means grace. And grace and peace come together. And we find that in one of the scriptures in the Old Testament as well, where it talks about righteousness and peace coming together. And these concepts are so closely linked. And I believe it's important in relationships that we seek for God to give us his grace to come to a place of shalom. But of course, shalom within a relationship, say between us, for example, I can remember growing up with this sort of thought that a relationship, it's 50-50, everybody's got give and take, isn't it? Got to meet each other halfway. But with shalom, it's more than that. It's giving abundantly, and grace is giving abundantly. So it's making sure that you have everything that you need to thrive. But we're not in a true relationship of shalom unless you're doing the same for me.
Yeah.
That must be a mutual reciprocity.
Yeah.
And that is so important. And obviously living in relationships of shalom is really difficult. I think that there are times when we will come to a point in a relationship where we will realise that that other person does not have our shalom at heart, and where it is the only way to achieve wholeness within ourselves is to walk away from it. And in fact, there was a time in the Gospels where Jesus sent out his disciples, and he sent them into cities or towns, villages around, and he said, go to a house, and when you go to the house, greet them there and say, shalom be with you. And if they receive your shalom, if the man is of peace, if the person of peace is the head of that household, they will receive your shalom, and you will stay with them for the whole of your time in that place. If there is no person of peace to be found in that place, if there is no shalom in that village, walk out of it and wipe the dust off your feet. But I'm aware as well, Paul does say, in as far as it is possible with you,
Yeah.
live at peace with all. And that is all we're asked to do.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It is a very big thing, because it's a request, almost a requirement, to do something. We, as David said at the beginning, sorry, I'm not letting you get a word in, am I? As David said at the beginning, shalom is translated peace, and peace, almost by definition, is often construed to be passive, like nothing is happening. But in shalom, a lot is happening.
Yeah.
And it requires us to give. You can't say to somebody in need, peace be with you, and go away without directing them to where they can get support or help, at the very least. Probably sometimes going with them, maybe giving them something that they need. But action is required for us to be truly in shalom.
Now, we've recently been talking about healing, and I wondered where shalom was relevant to healing, where it fits into that idea.
Very closely, very, very closely linked, because shalom, as a concept, one of the parts of shalom is that it brings wholeness. It is wholeness, that's what it talks about. And to be whole in body, in mind, in spirit, and in our relationships. So all of those things. So healing of our body, healing of our mind, are all things that will bring us to shalom, and things that bring us into shalom will bring about healing in our body or in our mind. Now, shalom is one of the things in the way that I understand God's, what we used to call in our other circles, and I've never found a better word for, kingdom. So shalom in God's kingdom is one of those things that we are working in. We have a bit of it now, and we can grow in it now. It will reach its fullness, and we will know it in wholeness and in completeness when God's kingdom comes in completeness, whatever that may look like. So for healing, you might find that you have a part of your healing as now shalom, but the other part of the now shalom is the ability to live your very best life with the unhealth that remains. That does not stop shalom from happening or from being part of your life. You can live your very best, and I have friends who are testament to this, who are living their best and fullest life, who other people would look at and say, yes, but you're not in full health. Well, that isn't stopping me, because I am going towards shalom, and I am getting it.
There was a couple of songs that you chose that we've sung at the beginning, and we're going to play out with one. Do you want to just say why you chose them and how they relate to shalom?
Yeah, certainly. So, come thou font of every blessing is, I chose that very specifically because there's a lovely rabbinical saying, because shalom is just impossible really to define, but there's a lovely old rabbinical saying that simply goes, God looked around for a container for all of his blessings and couldn't find any, so he created shalom. And I just think that's so perfect, because that's what shalom is. Shalom is the wholeness that comes from having all of the blessings of God. Yeah. But the song that we're going out with, which is God of Justice, I believe that's what it's called, is just because shalom is so closely linked to justice. And in fact, the Greek word ereini that is what it means. It's a legal term that means to make reparation, to add things on. And that makes me think of a lovely little... Have you ever had a time when you've had builders in, or a work person come in to do some work on your house, and they've left the place, and it looks a mess, and you've got so much mess to clean up after you? Well, there might be other times when they come in and they tidy up after themselves a bit, but you've still got a bit to do. On another occasion, they might come in and they might leave it just as they found it. Brilliant. But what ereini is and what shalom is just to go that extra mile, as Jesus recommended, and just make it how it should be. Bring it back to the fullness and more. The idea of the cup that runs over and gives that extra and that little bit more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Justice, Savior to all, came to rescue the weak and the poor, chose to serve and not his own. Jesus, call us, freely we receive, now freely we will give. We must go, feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just seeing. Move us into action. We must go. Justly every day, loving mercy in every way, walking humbly before you, God. You have shown us what you require. Freely we receive now, freely we will give. We must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just seeing, move us into action. We must go. Fill us up and send us out. 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 We must go, need to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just seeing, move us into action. We must go.
Listening to us today, and I'd just like to finish with a couple of blessings. This first one again uses the word shalom, and is that's often translated as peace, but I'm just translating it again as shalom, and this one is from Numbers 6. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his face to you and bring you shalom. Now, as we go into the week, may we live fully. May we love wastefully. And may we have the courage to be all that God has created us to be. Amen.